I guess we are live. Woohoo! Yay! Finally. So I've been waiting for this moment for a long time because today I'm joined with a very dear friend of mine, Sarah, and
Eh.
and we've been talking about this topic that we're going to talk about today a lot. So I'm so excited. And with us, we have also Austin, and I'm going to introduce both of them in a bit. But first, for you who are already logged in and are watching us, please tell me who you are and say hello and where you're from, etc., so that we don't feel so alone here because that kind of happens when you're staring in a screen and just the three of us. Oh, hello. Oh, that's
Hey,
really nice.
bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va?
That is a French one.
We like that, don't we? Oh, hello from Orlando. Oh, that is far from here. I guess you have daylight. I'm in Sweden, so we don't have daylight anymore.
Ever. No, it's summer too much.
Hello from Sweden, Martina. You know what I'm talking about. That is, yeah. So yes, it's starting to be cold and everything here, but we're not going to talk about weather today. We're going to talk about something very interesting and close to my heart topic. So brand search and stuff. But I'm not going to go into that either because that's what Sarah's going to cover more in depth. So are you guys doing something for Halloween today? It's the Halloween day today, isn't it? We were celebrating last or the during the weekend, but
I'm staying indoors,
oh
trying to avoid catching another cold.
yeah, all right, yeah,
But you
that's
will
that
be
season as
obliged.
well.
You will be obliged to distribute candies.
Yeah. I'm expecting some kids later on, probably from about an hour's time.
Oh,
Do you have a package? Some package of candy or no?
I have some stuff, yeah,
Okay.
some chocolate, but it's gonna
Uh,
run out very quickly, I reckon. But I'm not
all right.
expecting many people, maybe a handful.
If anyone in the audience is gonna doing something fun tonight or today or planning to have some party or something, please let us know so we can have a chat about that as well. Oh, Hans, hello. Hans is with him. I think you have been, Hans, at every webinar, every single one that I've done. It's
so,
dedication.
hi, Hans.
I love that. So, where are you from, Austin? Where are you sitting right now?
West Norwood, southeast London.
Mm,
Very cold, dark. Although not as cold as it was yesterday, but it's getting colder by the day, it seems.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love you too, Hans. You know that. And Sarah, you're sitting in?
So, apparently in a very dark place, but less dark than Sweden, but like it's really nice here. So, I'm in Switzerland. I'm located in Switzerland,
Oh,
in
nice.
Bern.
I'm in Stockholm, Sweden, and yeah, it's winter here. And then someone here, Jesse, commented on my all my plants, and that was actually a discussion before we went live. Yes, I have a lot of plants, but it's because I like the green things, and it's not so green outside at the moment. So yeah, that's. But I'm in Stockholm. Guys, it's starting to be a few minutes past 6, so let's kick off maybe, and I'll introduce the two of you. So Sarah here, Makan Sayesh, is a very dear friend of mine and someone who I spend a lot of time with because we actually chit chat almost every day. And when I am in Switzerland, I sometimes stay at Sarah's place. So that's that. And but Sarah is also a specialist, SEO specialist, and this is also why we're talking so much. By working at Leap, and I actually don't know how you pronounce Age and what that means.
Just say leap because AG in the reality is like German to say
Yeah, okay, limited.
SA or whatever you pronounce it, but it's like
All
like
right. So I've been to the
privately
office
free,
as well
whatever it
at
is.
Leap, and they are very nice, but also very talented. It's one of the largest web development agencies, or one of the largest agencies in Switzerland, not the world, but in Switzerland. So Sarah is also contributing to CaliCube, and she's also the co-host of SEO Nerd Switzerland, which was, you had me online, second time I was online ever. You had me as a guest. So special love for that. And SEO Nerd Switzerland is a specific meetup for SEO, talking about SEO and all topics. So in addition to technical SEO, Sarah is also working in close collaboration with analytical specialities or specialists and designers, developers, and content experts, which makes her a very holistic SEO person. And we also have, welcome, Sarah. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you. That was a big description about me. Yeah, thank you so much.
With us, we also have Austin, and I'm going to slaughter your last name. I'm sorry for that.
That's close, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Austin is also an SEO consultant, and you specialize, and this is like something that I find interesting, obtaining and managing Google Knowledge Panels. That is very specific.
It's like a niche area within SEO.
It's a niche within a niche within a niche. But also the founder and host of the democratizing? Oh, yep. Sorry, my English.
That's fine. Democratizing SEO
podcast. Yes. So, okay, cool. Welcome, both of you. And thank you so much, Anton and Duda, for having us and letting us discuss SEO in this way and let me talk to people that is super interesting about super interesting topics. And I'm Ulrika Wiberg. I run an SEO agency in Sweden, Stockholm, and we specialize or focus on user-focused SEO. So whatever we do it from the angle of the end user. Where is it technical or content or, such things. And I'm also hosting webinars at Duda. So that's about me. Well, let's kick this off. Let's hear some magic. I wanna see that presentation.
So let's kick off with some magic. So okay, so thank you so much for the introduction, Ulrika. I'm really excited to be with you and Austin, because I know that both of you will bring a lot to this presentation because you are very knowledgeable. Austin, you're the only one that speaks English here, but okay, everybody got it. Okay, thank you so much. So let's start. So the first thing why branded search should be the focus of your SEO strategy. This is the reason why you are here, to try to figure that out. So let's figure out that together. So I was discussing with Austin in the past, and I think that this slide that was discussed with him was it's sum it up all. So let's read it together. By focusing on your branded search, you maximize on the target advertising you receive from organic search. What that means is mainly people searching for your brand. They're very targeted because they're looking for your brand, and it's organic traffic, and you absolutely want them, they come to you. So there are a lot of advantage. Probably if you have a search console, or I don't know how you track things, you can go check your brand, and often it depends on the strength of your brand. But if you are relatively strong, you will see that many search are connected to your brand. So stronger you become, more searcher you have, and that is fantastic because that will help you make money out of it. So next. Okay. So this is the role of the buyer decision journey. To pass through all this presentation, we are a little bit obliged to speak about that. And so we will discuss about the buyer decision journey. Just to do a refresh of everything. So first of all, the buyer decision journey okay, I taking into account, then everybody knows what that is. Anyway, we will see a graph later on. So you can, if you don't know it, you can say, it's that. Brand lead searches can trigger, okay. So you can trigger your searches around all the stages, across all the stages of the user buyer decision journey. So that's mean then, for example, let's say then you do not know then you have a problem, but you want to buy a product, but you don't know then you want to buy it. So for example, you can come to know that on social networks. You're on Twitter, maybe on Twitter or X or whatever is the name now. And thanks you to the fact then you see the brand and you realize, oh, I want so much that. So anyway, this is just an example, but the idea is then you can trigger, you have to be careful to your buyer decision journey and do it properly.
But it's also like, sorry if I can interrupt it, isn't
Yes.
it also in some products are known as the brand? Like sometimes you search for something and you don't know exactly what it is or what it does or what the name of the product is or the service, but you know the brand name.
Yes.
And so that helps because that doesn't really tell you where in the decision journey you are, but it will probably pick up how you are using or how you are searching at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we
definitely.
can go, Austin.
I was
I
going
was
to
thinking
add,
about in zip.
I was going to add to that. It's branding is one of the areas that interjects with the linear journey, buyer decision journey. When we
Yeah.
think of it in a very linear way with the different stages, but branding can be featured across any one of those stages. So it's a very important and memorable way that people use to find what they're looking for when they start a search.
Yeah, and I guess that is also where the navigational intent plays in, whereas that could be
Is
wherever.
exactly that. And
Yes.
that will come in the next slide because I took inspiration from your model on that. So we will speak about that in the next slide. But just to come back to what you were saying and the example, like to give an example and what Austin was saying, like to put everything together, just think like, I don't know, like running shoes Nike. Probably you don't have a specific, you have a specific model in your mind, but their model are always so complicated the way then they write their model, then it doesn't stick. But if you write like running shoes Nike, there are big chances then the model that you have in mind and probably is the last model come out in the search because it's a very strong brand, is assimilated, we will speak about that, but is connected to running shoes. So that will help. Now, coming back to exactly what you were saying, Ulrika, and as I said before, I took inspiration on your model. I don't know what is the name of your model, but the idea
The
of the
search
model.
customer journey.
Okay, well, you could be more creative. Ulrika search customer journey. Okay, unicorn. Anyway, the idea is always the same. I don't know if everybody know what the search intent is, but let's like focus on what it is, and then we go to the model. So it will just be few minutes of explanation to make sure then everybody will follow us in the next slide. So when you go and you search on Google, there are chances then sometimes you want to have information. So for example, you want to know how good is, I don't know, how good is
How old
something?
is George Clooney?
Seriously, you want to know that? Okay. So
Right.
how old is George Clooney? Okay, let's plus is a sort of branding in some way, so it's okay. So how old is George Clooney? That is an information that you're looking for. If you want to buy George Clooney, I'm not sure that is legal for information, Rika, but in that case, you will go more to a transactional. It means like you have a transaction in your mind and you want to conclude it. So everything that is here is like the process then somebody goes when they do a research on Google. So they will start from looking for some information. For example, I love luxury watches. Somebody even told me that I just write about luxury watches because apparently I'm obsessed about that. So let's stick to my obsession. So for example, Ulrika does diving. And this is her new obsession. What she will do is then she probably will write, like she will go at the beginning, she would have start by searching, I guess, for a watch. And if it is a luxury watch.
But he is still hot, isn't he?
I thought he was in his 50s.
No, apparently no. No, he just have kids that are like 3 years old, but no, it's like
Oh yeah.
he gave to the humanity. So anyway, so you will go and you will probably search like luxury diving watch, for example, and then you will have a list of brand there, and that is an information you try to figure out. Do they work well? Which brand work well? So navigational, it's really related to the brand. So let's say then you're looking for a luxury brand. I don't know. Then I have diving watches. Jägerlekurt. I love Jägerlekurt. Maybe something like this.
Diving, and it's called diving computers, but Maris is a good one. Maris series. So,
but it's not a luxury watch. But okay,
in
let's
my
think
world,
of
it
that.
is.
Okay, but anyway, we will discuss about that in the future. So the idea is just then when you start to search, you start very large, you start to understand the topic, and then you get closer and closer to really buying your product. You really choose to buy, and when you arrive to a specific brand, for example, let's say Nike, then you want to buy, you will probably write buy Nike running shoes, and you will write your model or whatever, or you just write the Nike running shoes and the name of the model, and you will probably, that it will be your transactional because you have in mind, okay, I want to buy it. So you will not even need the buying part. But the idea, it's really, you start the research, it's large, and it gets small. Okay, so when you did that, now you have to put things together. And here, it's where it started with Ulrika model. Then, as you say, once it took over, it went spread all over and did in the different way. I don't remember exactly what it was the sentence, but the logic is have your buyer decision journey and connect that to your search intent. This is the buyer decision journey that I use, which is not linear. And like Austin was speaking about not linear, this is clearly not linear. It's a loop. And the idea about the loop is then you pass through all the phases, and this, it will be like the phase where people have several, like they start searching. Here they have several brands in their mind, and here they have just one brand because they decide to buy to that brand. What is interesting in this model, which is the reason why I think then it's cool, is then it continues once somebody buy, it continues until the point that they became advocate, they became really loyal to you, and they will directly skip some stages and directly go to buy again your brand, because probably they will be loyal to your brand. And I find this super cool. So the idea, it was like, put together your search intent, put together your buyer decision journey, and you have to build your material, all your content based on that. Okay. And this is very important because you really have to understand your user and you really have to build the content around that. Why? This we will see it later on with like, for example, generative AI. With the generative AI experience, you want like mainly what you want is then Google get the information that you want to give them. That is the truth. So then they pick up the important information and then they get the information, they englobe it, they accept it, they understand it. But then to do that, you have to prepare the material. To prepare the material, you have to be all over. And that also means once you sold the product, it's not enough just to, I sold it. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, you have to do much more. You have to do the onboarding, you have to do the follow-up, because you want, like, for example, somebody that is loyal will write on your website explaining how cool the product was. And somebody that is an advocate will go on another blog and say, oh, it was fantastic. So that will really help you, and it will help your brand. So, okay, so I will not spend more time on that. I don't know, Ulrika, do you want to add some information on that? Taking into account that it was inspired by a model that has a very basic name.
Yeah, so you're welcome to find a new name for it, the search customer journey. But no, I have nothing more to add. Actually, I think that you covered the model very good. Basically, just create content for the search intents, which I think as well is going to be a huge thing in the generative AI, how they understand content and present it.
Absolutely. And I would say with the example that we have after that, I don't know in which slide, we can demonstrate that is already a big thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
just keep in mind here, like we put a small point, brand kids nose jacket, then it was like the decision to buy, just to show it to you in the examples. So let's go to the next. Why does your brand need to improve search engine understanding of it? Okay, so why? Why? So here, the more search engine trust and understand your brand, the better they can advertise your brand to your audience. I think that is like something then Austin would be very excited, I guess, about this sentence because it's focused on knowledge panels, and this sentence is the sentence for knowledge panels. So
I mean,
so
with search, we always have to remember when we're trying to acquire traffic via search, we're trying to acquire the audience, in this case, of Google, right? And their mission statement is to serve users with information, accurate, useful information, as quickly as possible. In order for them to do that, they need to find that information, right? And they need to find sources for it. So the better they know the sources, the better they can present the information to their audience. Their audience are the audience that we want to make our audience, our users. So the more we help Google by providing to their audience, the better they can serve us to their audience, which we want as our audience.
exactly, 100%
Guess who
that.
just popped in?
Jason
Jason.
Bernard.
Hi,
Hey.
Jason.
Hey, Jason.
That doesn't.
So nice to see
So,
you here as well.
by the way, Jason, we will speak about the CALI process later on. So, well done to come. You can add something maybe. So anyway, yes, is exactly that, Austin. I 100% agree with you, and I think then this sentence sum it up very well. So, voila. Speaking about credit to CaliCube, this is something that is coming from CaliCube. So, like how it looks, the search with generative AI. So there was like, did I lost everybody? Like,
No, we're still here.
okay, I was like, okay, am I speaking alone now? Okay. So, okay, just make it bigger, I guess. So, yes, so the idea is exactly you have your generative AI, you have your knowledge panel, you have like all the normal things that Google does nowadays. So there we can have Twitter card, etc. So this is how it looks. Now, if you are a brand, what you want is dominate that. Because like if if I am Nike, they're dominating me for sure. That is like that stuff is dominating all over. Their Nike is all over. But I've tested with other running shoes in the past. I don't know if I should say the brand because I like them, but I tested with another brand of running shoes that I particularly like, and it was not like Nike. And it's a bit sad because like they are probably better than Nike. They technically speaking, they are really fantastic, but like they're not at the level of Nike, at the level of their SERP results. Which it was a bit sad. So this is how it looks. And in this webinar, what we want to do with Austin and Ulrika is to make sure then you get it. And then when you go away, you're like, oh, wow, I will have that SERP with everything inside from my generative AI knowledge panel. And again, all the other things that come on the other side.
I guess that in the future, we're not only going to chase our knowledge panel, we're going to chase our SGE, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm already chasing it. Let's chase
me
it
too.
together.
Me too.
So yeah, that is clear. It's like, it's not yet available completely new in Europe, obviously, but like it's very clear then brand needs to prepare to that. Like it's coming.
It's coming.
They have to know that it's coming and they have to prepare for that.
Exactly.
But again, maybe something else thing you want to add there, because for me, preparing for the knowledge panel also help to prepare for the generative AI.
Absolutely. So at the moment, we have essentially two sides. If you're on desktop, when you Google a brand name, you have the left-hand row and the right-hand row. In the near future, when we have SGE release, we can expect a top-hand row, which is what you see on the in this image right here. And this three Reels on Google is going to be very important from a branding point of view, because it ensures that you dominate your brand SERPs and you acquire as much traffic from that brand search as possible. Remember, whenever your brand is Googled, you're competing with other people who target your brand name. So it's important that you acquire as much traffic or as much visibility with your own properties. Now, you have here with the image, trust, like, and know. We can anticipate that Google will have this sort of feature in place where the top hand row are the sources that they trust. The right hand row are the ones that they know and have verified, the facts about your brand. And the left hand row will be the recommendations, the ones that they essentially like. All three are important. The right hand row and, of course, the top hand row is increasingly becoming more important. On mobile, predominantly, you will just have the top and right hand row. Of course, everything is one. So we'll see less of the left hand row and more of the top and right hand row, the ones that Google trust and know. So you can prioritize it and anticipate Google to have some sort of ordering in place in the very near future. I'm talking perhaps weeks, but definitely months.
I guess that's how you're going to go into how to optimize for it, but I am sitting here eager to hear that.
Yes, exactly. So we are going to the next, how to optimize. But first, in how to optimize, we are torturing you by speaking a bit of what we see. So, okay. So I just want to give you an example. I was motivated, snow is coming, and I hate the winter, and I want my kids to be overcovered. So I was like, okay, let me go to Troll Kids, which they sell snow jacket, and let me order a couple of jackets for my kids. So as you can see here down, like where I put the red square, is a square that the red thing, then you can see then Google understood and I was speaking about those jackets. It was very clear. I mean, it's no jacket. The thing then they're showing there with popular style, they're not even snow jacket. And Ulrika can confirm that because she comes from the north of Sweden, so she can confirm these are not snow jacket.
No.
And it was very clear for them what I was looking if we check like product category. But then for the part of generative AI, it was not clear. They gave me troll jacket, like the troll of the film, of the movie. And I'm like, why would I buy that for snow jacket? Which obviously demotivate me. And I was like, okay, so I know then you can directly go click buy. Okay, there you have to, if I go on the normal website, then I have to do all the process. Is much longer. So I wanted to check, hey, maybe with generative AI, I can just buy direct. So, by the way, I couldn't because anyway, I'm not in the US, but and I use a VPN, so I couldn't. But okay, general information, it would have been cool. So I said, okay, so let's use another brand. Okay, this is another brand for snow jackets, Jack Wolfskin. And there I have everything. Now, the other jackets are specialized for kids. And I specifically said, and I want a snow jacket for kids, and I said the name of the brand. So here what happened is then I got pissed, and I would have buy a, can I say got pissed? No, it's very impolite, no?
No, yeah.
Okay. And I would have buy a Jack Wolfskin jacket instead of Troll Kids jacket. Okay, because they give me everything. It's exactly popular style, but there I have like really what I want to buy. To the next slide, we can see at what level this is interesting, because this is a product knowledge panel. So what happened is then I am in my generative AI and I say, oh, I like the jacket. Okay, I click there and I directly can buy the jacket. Not joke, I can directly buy the jacket. So, and I have the price, which one give me the best price? Scandinavian outdoor, for example, it looks a really good place to go. I don't know it will work out. But then you can directly buy the jacket. And this make me think, imagine I didn't, if like the situation was it was in the US, so I couldn't buy it. But like seriously speaking, I'm just waiting for this future. I was a buyer at that point. I was at the end of the of my loop, of the first loop, that one when you decide to buy. I was already clear what I wanted to buy, and I ended up with a Jack Wolfskin jacket.
Yeah.
That is bad for the brand. That is bad. They just lost money and on something that they could easily avoid by controlling the generative AI part. And again, well, I will not speak like hour about that, and I will let it go because we go to the examples. But the idea, it's really then. No, I will not speak about generative knowledge graph and everything. Let's keep it simple. Okay, so another thing that is interesting here is then when I go to my generative AI, I have the follow-up questions. Okay. And this is something incredible for me all the time. Then I check this follow-up question, I have my mouth, then those. Imagine that you are Jack Wolfskin, and then somebody comes and and I want to buy a snow jacket, obviously, because it have to be a warm snow jacket. Why I would buy it if not? And one of the questions that I get there is that, like, are Jack Wolfskin's jacket warm? Now imagine that you click and it is right. Not so much. How terrible is that for the brand? Exactly. And again, this is everything. Then for me, it's like the brand needs to control it.
Yeah.
It's
this is super important. Like I don't know if brands understand how important this is and how big this is going to be and what a big part it probably will play in brands marketing.
Yeah, it's exactly that. They really need to control it. And then like something then it's like interesting than Austin does is generating a knowledge panel, because obviously to do that, you also have to control the entity, etc., etc. Maybe he wants to speak about it later on, but let's go on. The idea is then we want to make sure that we are controlling everything. And then I find the other thing interesting, just for the sake of torturing people and having an extra slide. Here we go with snow jacket for kids, because if you didn't get it, I wanted to buy a snow jacket for my kids. And then I see what is related. Okay, what is related? In Google, you always have this sort of related filter. I don't know what is the name. Maybe Jason can help me as he's here, because he knows the name of every single feature, but these are like related entity, I would say. And then I see, wow, I wrote snow jacket for kids, and I see Columbia and the North Face. Both are selling everything that is for snow. And then if I check on the bottom what I see in popular style by just writing snow jacket for kids, guess what I find? Peter Piece. Here we go. Thank you, Jason. Here we go. What do we find? We find the North Face, like first jacket, second jacket, Columbia. I don't know. Maybe I checked too many connections, but that is suspicious for me.
And Jason says that they're called filter pillars, and those are becoming increasingly interesting. I
Exactly.
agree. I
And
think that
now,
is something we need to check.
exactly. And when, for example, you work for clients, I guess then Austin do the same. You do the same. You go to check, like for important topics of your client, you go to check everything that is related and brands that are related. So, Austin, this is your passion. So let's speak about it together, because like this is what you do as a job, creating knowledge panel. Brand, see, Jason does the same. You create like, yeah,
Knowledge,
it's
not,
just
knowledge panel are increasingly becoming more and more useful for not just Google to show to users, but for users to quickly gather information and go through their search journey quickly. Speed is a big factor. And from an SEO point of view, when we think of speed, we tend to think of it from a website point of view. But there is another side of speed, and this is the customer or users going through their search journey as quickly as possible. Having the facts about a brand within the SERPs allows them to quickly attain information and then go through to their very end journey, which is essentially to resolve whatever question they have. In the case of a commercial intent, is to make a purchase. So, and from a Google point of view, the more facts they know about you, the better they can present it to their users. So the knowledge panel is the key, the absolute key to ensuring that your brand has visibility for your users, especially when SGE is released, and you want to ensure that you have control of your knowledge panel. And this is what the CaliCube process ensures that brands take control of. Wikipedia ideally shouldn't be the source that you use. You can attain a knowledge panel with your own website. It doesn't have to be via Wikipedia. In fact, it's better that you attain it via your own website because you control it rather than going via Wikipedia.
so Jason. See, Jason. Sorry, I was speaking about Jason. I was speaking with Jason about this, and you say that, and then I say, "Sorry, Jason, I want to say something." But yeah, sorry, Austin, I want to say something because I was discussing exactly that with Jason, because we were checking a case together, and exactly there is this dominance of Wikipedia, even if it decreases to in the profit of other sources, and then we were like, I was like discussing, and I was like, it's so difficult when, as an SEO, when like the dominant source is Wikipedia, because in the reality you have so little control. I mean, if you are in SEO, you probably try to tweak a bit the system, or you try to do some changes on Wikipedia, and your changes were refused or completely ignored. So taking the control on Wikipedia, for me, it's one of the most difficult things. So this, I absolutely agree with you and with Jason, by the way, then is really to avoid, cioè, if you can have the knowledge panel without Wikipedia, it's much better because you can control the source. And if that
Absolutely.
source is your website, you just won the lottery, because then you control the information,
Oh yeah.
which is very difficult with Wikipedia to control the information. So for me, if we have to sum up everything that we cited now, again, we didn't give the strategy out, but like everything that I can cite in now, it's like all your job is to control the information and know which information are going out. So that is really what you want to obtain at the end. So then generative AI and the information that go in the knowledge panel are correct. So controlling the information is like your main job, probably the job of the future, apart from making your client become an entity, but that is another story. So, okay. So finally, Ulrika, we arrive to the big point.
Finally.
So we did it here. So, okay, so I know, Austin, you, no, before giving out the strategy, let's have an extra slide. Because like this was a slide that was coming from Austin, and I just love it. And it was like, let's add that. So is if branded organic search bring in a qualified audience, how much business can you generate by improving it? So exactly that. So you improve your brand search, and again, it brings money. So that is exactly the connection that you have to have in your brain. And when that connection works, everything works because you work in that direction.
And really
So,
think about that, folks. From an
go.
SEO point of view, historically, we focused on generic terms, but branded terms is far more valuable. Now, some businesses have considered branded organic traffic to be unearned. This is not the case at all. If you have branded traffic and people are searching for your brand and you're not number one, just have a look at your data from Google Search Console. If you're not number one for your branded term, this is an area that you can easily win because it means you don't have the top visibility when someone searches for your brand. And again, it's an easy win focusing on your branded search, beginning with your main brand term is just the best way to acquire traffic quickly.
Yes, and I would say it's not just acquiring traffic, which is very important, obviously, because this is why you do it. But also, if you improve that, it means then you have improved the understanding. Before we spoke about understanding, but then you also have improved like the understanding of your brand towards search engine. Because nowadays, search engine are facing a big problem with this generative AI and hallucination. Okay, I didn't want to speak about that, but let's give it 2 seconds.
Let's do it.
Let's do it just for 2 seconds. Now, imagine if you are Google. Now you are giving results. And the reason why people come to you is because they trust you. But the technology of generative AI, it's based on a different technology than the knowledge graph, from where you can pick the information for the knowledge panel, which one is based on fact. So the knowledge graph, and this explains why also the knowledge panel is based on fact, real fact. I was born the 21st of November is a fact. So that they can pick it out. And then on the other side, you have generative AI, which is very conversational and very cool, but can invent everything. So you want to correct that, and you want to correct that also for your brand. And the solution to correct that is to speak these two technologies together. So now they are doing that. So if you do in your search, it's improving because they're trying to speak everything. And so it's really important that you control really your information that goes in the knowledge graph. Again, I should have spoken about the knowledge graph for that, but if you're an SEO, probably you have heard that word, and you have to speak the information that are getting picked up for the generative AI. So everything is super important. You control the information, you grow your brand, because you will have it, as Austin was saying, you will have it like in your generative AI, you will have it in your knowledge panel, you will have it all over, and bam, your brand will explode. The understanding of your product connected to your brand. So before we have seen North Face. North Face is a brand and sells snow clothes. And it was clearly connected in the Google understanding North Face, Snow Cloth. And this is because they did a good job in their brand. And the understanding is there. So, okay, so this just to conclude what Austin was saying. Austin, now we are ready. Let's do that. Let's go to the calic process. And as Jason is here, so he can probably, if he wants to say something, to jump in, because like he was creating the calic process, which became like a reference from my point of view, because like especially in our world with so much of an evolution. So the idea is that we have seen a lot of problem for me when I wanted to buy a jacket, a snow jacket for my kids. And we ended up, then I buy it on the wrong brand, like on another brand. Now we want to avoid all this. If we are troll kids, we want to avoid this. So how do we avoid this? There is this calic process then is based on 3 phases. First phase is understanding. Second phase is credibility, and third phase is deliverability. I already asked Jason to change the name, because if you're not mother tongue, this is a nightmare to pronounce them, but okay. But I will stick to these 3, and I hope that one day we'll change the names. So, okay. So if we sum it up, because I don't know how much time we have it, so we will just sum it up. And anyway, you can read, like, there is the link here, Calipu guidance, if you want to go in the details. So first thing is to become an entity. Okay, Austin, do you want to, or Ulrika, one of you, do you want to go more in deep about like becoming an entity, what it means? Should
Sure.
we interact on that like this? Then because I already
You can
heard too
tell
much
me
my
how,
voice.
how you tell Austin. Please tell me how you do it, and I can tell you how it feels becoming one.
So, sure. So ideally, you want to look at your brand and products and services as entities. Um, Switch from thinking of them as keywords to entities. And for
Mm.
each entity you have, you want to ensure that you have a home for that entity. The the key is to ensure that your entity is within Google's knowledge vault. And the way to do that is to have once you have that within the knowledge vault, your knowledge panel can be triggered. Triggering your knowledge panel is a sign of confidence from Google that they have enough understanding of your entity. Your brand, your products, and all your services, these are all entities. And you want to ensure that each entity has an entity home, and your entities are within Google's knowledge panel, and they have their Google's knowledge vault, and they have their panels triggered, i.e., visually you see the right hand rail of your entities.
So wait, Austin, I feel the need to, if not everybody in SEO, it will be maybe a bit complicated. Let's go back a step. So first of all,
Okay.
what is an entity? Because if you're not in SEO, you don't know what is an entity. So the
An
idea,
entity. Okay, do you
go.
want me to explain it, or do you want to go
No,
ahead?
I will go, then we will interact, because you
Okay,
are to
sure.
another level. I think first we need to go back a moment.
Sure.
So first of all, Google has a database, a big database. And in this database, they need to have the information about your brand, your product, and the relationship between brand and products, for example, or relationship between the owner of the company and the brand, like the name of the company. So what happens is then entities are the thing, like nodes maybe, it depends how you want to look at them, but they are the thing that are inside this database. And this thing inside the database have a number, because like you can't say, if I say my name is Sarah Mokonsayek, okay, you will say there are not tons of Sarah Mokonsayek probably in this world, but like George Clooney, maybe there are tons of George Clooney. So each George Clooney will have a number related to it. Okay, so this will be a unique identifier. So inside the database, which is the knowledge graph, which is Google Knowledge Graph, we'll have these numbers. Now, speaking about the knowledge vault. which is a very specific of one of these database that Google has. And I don't know, should I say something else? I think that now I made it clear. I don't know if it is clear.
So an entity in a very simple basic term is a name, place, or a thing.
Mm.
Your brand is an entity, your product has a name, so that's an entity. Your service, if you've branded your service, that is also an entity. So think of it as a name, place, or a thing.
So, for example, if I am Nike, my my entity will be Nike, and the number of my entity, I don't know, it would be G/1 2 3 4 5 and 7 blah blah blah, a number that is Nike. And then, for example, they will have Jordan shoes, which will be another entity. And what is interesting in the entity, it's the connection that exists. So, for example, in our case than we saw before, North Face is an entity, so it has a number. Kids jacket, no, snow jackets, for example, is another entity, and the two are connected. Okay, so I know then there is an understanding in the database. Then are like, oh, snow jacket and North Face, there is a connection. This is the way that Google understanding. It's a little bit like your brain when you do mental connections between things. So, for example, I'm friend with Ulrika. That is a connection. And I know Austin because we had the webinar together, and then I like it, like the way of thinking of everybody. And then there is like a connection. I am the connection between Ulrika and Austin, maybe something like this. And now Austin and Ulrika are connected, and there will be new connection building up. So, okay. So it's not a perfect example, but the idea is coming. Connection are important. So yes, so it's the part of the understanding. So became an entity, make sure that Google understand you, they understand so everything about your brand, they understand your target audience and which information you want to transmit. Then there is the credibility. The credibility. The credibility part is the part where you want to make sure that what you are saying inside your website is also said outside your website. So if I say, I am the best FTO of the world, okay, and that could apply to a brand. They can say they are the best of the world, but if outside nobody is saying that, then it has no value. So if other websites are not saying that, other credible sources are not saying that, so credible source probably in the domain are not saying that, nobody is saying that, then you lose the value. Then your credibility is no more there. I am the best in the world. We should not say that. So no, and the credibility, it's really not there. So credibility are also external source. And something cool about credibility is then you can play a bit inside also. Like, for example, I don't know, Ulrika, how many years is then you're doing SEO? 10?
16
15?
already.
16?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm that old.
Sorry, 16 years in SEO, sorry. Okay. So, for example, in your website, you can say it is 16 years that I'm doing SEO. That is something that you can write internally in your website and then can help the credibility. But then I need to have external source that confirm then, like, I can understand really then you are an experienced one, because maybe if somebody comes and is a fresher, can write it is 16 years and I'm in SEO. Not true. Do you see? Not true. They need external sources to confirm it. That is exactly the same logic that you need to use for your brand. Then there is I don't know, do you want to add something, Austin, about credibility?
I think would you continue, Sarah, because we are running out of time.
Okay, we are running out of time, so we arrive to deliverability, blah, 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 this word. And the idea is exactly the idea that we saw before. Then we saw our famous loop, and then we saw the search intent. We put everything together. Deliverability is simply produce the content that you want and make sure to transmit the correct information to to search engine. Then they grab all the correct information. And when you do that, and you think about your user and about search engine, because I'm between the two. So then you make sure that you are transmitting the correct information to your user and to search engine, and make sure that they're getting the information, and then to help yourself do that through a buyer decision journey and taking into account search intent. So you can choose the format that you want to deliver. You can choose, I would stop here. I would stop here. Anyway, you can check like CALI guides, and there you will see for content creators. Then I wrote it with JSON, and then there are tons of other that can give you more about the CALI process.
Awesome. I really like this model, and I can see how it fits within the search customer journey as well, as a layer of the thing. And then, I mean, we can build on top and stretch it out in different ways, or different layers to say. I have a question. I haven't had so many questions from your audience, so if you have any, please reach out and put them in the chat. But I have a question, or maybe a very short discussion topic. So we're talking about brands and branded search and everything, and you mentioned early in the presentation about paid search and ads, and how does this come in with the branded search? Are we still gonna be able to buy our branded keywords or branded names, you think, or is it gonna shift more to the branded and the knowledge graphs, or has it already done that?
Oh, again, I probably make reference in the wrong way. I was speaking like it's free paid because it comes to you, but anyway, I will try to answer that. So traditionally, people, okay, from my experience, they will bid on their brand and on their product, especially to avoid then their competitor do it.
Yeah.
So that it's if I am, I don't know, if I am a unicorn or brand, I bid because I don't want my competitor bid on it. So for me, till paid exists, probably there will still be the need of playing around that, but more and just to make sure I dominate all the organic, but I want to dominate also paid if it is around. Now I have seen less and less paid, but maybe that is just because we are at the beginning and I don't know the other people, but each time I was testing everything related to generative AI and the new SERP, I saw less and less paid.
I haven't, when I'm doing the VPN thing to this G, I'm not seeing any paid, but I guess that no one is still in beta version, so I guess that's
I'm sure Google will change that before
I'm
it's
sure too.
released.
They still want to earn money somehow.
Oh yeah.
I guess, but then in that case it will really be people they will continuous bidding on their brand to make sure that the competitor will not do it. But the dominance of the SERP, you have to really dominate the organic part because that will really help for the understanding.
Yeah. So Jason says, any thoughts on the need for entity understanding for EEAT? I guess that is a very directed question.
I guess that is a very directed question.
You forgot to talk about this.
So we just have 2 minutes, Jason. No,
it's okay. We can pull over a bit.
Okay. So the fact then. So we discussed it with Austin before about the knowledge panel, and we discussed it about the process of the CALI process and the importance of people of Google to really understand you. Okay. So now there is one thing. When Google do not understand you properly, they need to guess, no?
Yeah.
This is a big problem. Guessing is a problem. Like we saw with generative AI, we literally saw it, then they're trying to fix the guessing part. They do not like the guessing part. That is a mindset. Guessing, 9. So the idea is like, yes, with it, what you want to do, if they have an entity, a proper entity, and they understand well the entity, is much easier to apply the it signals. So you have less of the guessing part, and maybe signals are also reduced when they have to guess. When they know how to apply them.
Yeah. I guess also this is also going to be a massive thing with the generative AI, having the trust, like that, play that part, because it's going to be so important, or it is important. In my opinion. So
yes, my favorite topic. Yeah.
Martina is also asking, is it better to have your brand info in bullet points rather than plain text to gain a knowledge graph or knowledge panel?
It's better to keep it simple in to explain who you are, what you do, which audience you serve. It doesn't have to be in bullet points. If you can have it in a sentence or two, it's as simple as possible. It doesn't have to be in a bullet point format.
Yeah.
So maybe there is something that you can use to check if it is well understood. You can use Jason, maybe now we have it for free, because you can use like Google NLP, like, and see how the entity and the sentence is understood. But Jason, help me there, because now I think then you have a tool for free that people can access, where you can write like a part of the content, and then it gives you a feedback of what they understand through the entity and everything. What's the name of the tool? And if you have it for free?
I remember it, but I don't remember the name of it.
I know that now it gave like for free the tool. Well, anyway, it will write it probably in the chat, but like you can use Google NLP, but then you have to set it up and everything. Instead, there is really the tool. Then I think then it's for free, then it can give. So if you can share the link.
Just search, check my entity or something like that. Check entities in text.
No, that is to find the entities, but there is another one that you can really write the text and you find the entity in the text, not just like the brand.
No,
maybe it's that one. Maybe yes. Oh no, maybe it's just that one. You're right. Okay.
Awesome. So if people have more questions or want to discuss this more, where do they find you, Sarah?
Where do you find me? So you can find me on LinkedIn. I had a slide, but then I removed them. So you can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Sarah Mokonsayeg. So you can find me there, or you can find me on Twitter. But I'm more active on LinkedIn. Since it became X, I'm a bit less active there.
And you also have a knowledge panel, so.
By the way, I have a knowledge panel.
I guess you also have one, Austin.
Just to say.
And three entities entered the webinar.
A knowledge panel. So here you have 3 people with a knowledge panel, by the way.
Google our names.
Exactly. So yes.
Can we just drop the mic here?
Let's do that.
All right. So it's 3 minutes over, and so if you guys want to further have discussions about this or ask questions or whatever, reach out, and we are happy to talk about it, all 3 of us. But yeah, thank you so much for this evening and this webinar, and this was very enlightful, and I really like this topic, and I understood a bit more, and so thank you for that, Sarah. And Austin, thank you for being our co-host, or the co-star. Thank you so much.
Thanks to both of you. It was really nice to be with you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you both.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye all.